The 21st century has witnessed the rise of new power centers, challenging the long-held dominance of the West. Among these, an informal yet formidable alliance has emerged, often referred to as CRINCS, encompassing China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and Syria. While not a formal military pact like NATO, CRINCS represents a growing convergence of interests among these nations. They are united by a shared desire to reshape the global order and challenge the existing US-led system. The term CRINCS itself is a relatively recent creation, gaining traction in geopolitical circles as a way to encapsulate this evolving alliance. It highlights the growing cooperation between these countries across multiple domains. These range from economic partnerships and military collaborations to shared technological advancements and diplomatic alignments. Understanding the motivations and objectives of each member state within CRINCS is crucial to grasping the potential implications of this bloc. While their individual goals might vary, their shared opposition to the US-led world order forms a powerful unifying force. This sets the stage for a new era of geopolitical competition with potentially far-reaching consequences. Each member of CRINCS is drawn to this informal alliance by a unique set of circumstances and ambitions. For China, it's about cementing its position as a global superpower, rivaling the United States. Russia, still smarting from the loss of its Soviet empire, seeks to regain its lost influence and challenge NATO's eastward expansion. Iran, long isolated by Western sanctions, sees CRINCS as a way to break free from its diplomatic constraints and assert its regional power. North Korea, under its reclusive regime, craves the security and recognition that an alliance with larger powers can offer, especially in the face of international pressure over its nuclear program. Finally, Syria, ravaged by years of civil war, finds a lifeline in this alliance. Support from Russia and Iran has been crucial for the survival of the Assad regime. In return, Syria offers these countries a strategic foothold in the Middle East. This convergence of interests, driven by a combination of ambition, insecurity, and ideological kinship, forms the bedrock of the CRINCS alliance. At the heart of the CRINCS alliance lies a shared ambition to challenge the US-led world order that has prevailed since the end of the Cold War. These nations view the current system as favoring Western interests at their expense. They chafe against what they perceive as American unilateralism and interference in their affairs. Their goal is not necessarily to replace the existing order with a new one of their own making. Instead, they seek to reshape it into a multipolar system where power is more diffuse. In this new world, CRINCS nations would have a greater say in setting global rules and influencing international outcomes. This ambition is reflected in their coordinated actions on the world stage. They often vote together in international forums like the United Nations, opposing resolutions seen as advancing Western interests. They have also established alternative institutions such as the BRICS group in Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, to rival Western-dominated bodies like the World Bank and the IMF. Beyond shared geopolitical objectives, the CRINCS nations are forging deeper economic ties. This is partly driven by necessity, as many of these countries face sanctions or economic pressure from the West. Russia, for instance, has become increasingly reliant on China as an export market for its energy resources, following Western sanctions imposed after its invasion of Ukraine. Iran, long subject to crippling US sanctions, has found a lifeline in its growing trade relationship with China. Beijing has become a major buyer of Iranian oil, providing Tehran with much-needed revenue. In return, China gains access to Iran's vast energy reserves and a strategic partner in the Middle East. The CRINCS nations are also increasingly conducting trade in their own currencies, reducing their reliance on the US dollar. This move towards de-dollarization is partly symbolic, aimed at undermining the dominance of the US currency. However, it also serves a practical purpose by insulating these countries from the impact of US sanctions and financial pressure. These growing economic partnerships are creating a web of interdependence within CRINCS, making it more difficult for the West to isolate or pressure individual members.